Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, Juan? How you doing, man?
Jeez, I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
It's been a long, long week, man. It's
Has
been a
it?
long week. Yes, sir. It is when Pace talks about creating problems and trying to fix them, this has been one of those weeks.
Is it all real estate or like you got some business stuff going
Um,
on?
well, no, the business front is good, man. It does we actually talked with the owners of that granite shop today. It was a great conversation. I think we're almost there. We're at least pretty good on negotiation. Like I think we're almost there. We're working up a deal. It does look like it's going to be an asset purchase. We're going to do it for $1, and then there'll be a $50,000 payout. The owner, well, the girl that the dad, I guess, is used to own it, right? But now the girl owns it, and so she will get 5,000 a month. Plus, they will get an earnout over the next 3 years, up to $300,000. But it'll be based on a percentage of EBITDA, and so the way we're underpinning or doing that is putting the ball in our court, right? Because we can we can situate EBITDA to kind of be whatever we want it to be, right? Like if we depreciate a little more on the equipment or not, or interest or taxes. And so we could basically, tell them, hey, we'll give you, I don't know, 20 or 50% for everything over 20% EBITDA, right? Like, so basically saying like, hey, if we did, I don't know, $1 million this year and EBITDA was, let's say, $200,000, that would be 20%, right, of total sales.
Right.
Well, everything over that 20% will give you 50%, right? But we can adjust those numbers really to be whatever we want them to be, right?
Yeah.
So and we're of course going to pay them out, right? Like that's what we want, but we also want to be able to kind of dictate that, right, over 3 years. So I think the way that we're going to situate it is say, we will pay you X amount profit based on EBITDA over the next 3 years to cap at $300,000. So if they end up making 100,000, right? If they end up making 200,000, it's really geared by however we situate that, right? So, but yeah, man. So that was that. I think that'll be a good order of business. We are, I think, going to be writing up an email, sending that over. He's going to send it to his friend, who's a business development guy, whatever. Um, but I think once we come to some agreements there, we will write up the official contract. We already have the attorney in place. Hey, Juan, can you hold on?
Yeah, yeah,
Goodness, man, my daughter is. All right. So, anyway, that being said, like, we'll probably write that deal up and we're not even going to do an LOI. We're just going to do a contracted offer based on, the agreements that we come to.
yeah.
We've already got the financing in place. We had a great discussion with the dad today about because what he does is a little bit different from his competitors, right? He's more worried about quality over quantity. So, they're doing these $1 million houses, they're doing this stuff by hand. And the reason they work this natural stone by hand is because it's harder to deal with, right? So they they try to do it more by hand. But he was saying on the quartz in of the house, right, that you can kind of do that with machines because there's less mistakes. And so we could probably go to like production builders. And he was like, we hadn't even really, he was like, we know them. I have, contracts that I could build with them, with, one of them was with Lennar Homes and a few others. But he was like, we could do these production contracts with quartz because the machines can do those really efficiently, and we can just push those out all day long. So he seems to believe, with the way that we want to do it, that we could pretty easily get to $3 million in sales probably within the first year, which would give us $600,000 in EBITDA, which would end up being a good day. Hopefully by what we feel to be year 3 to 5, be somewhere in that $10 million valuation mark, and then try to 3x that company and sell it for $30 million. That would be great.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome, bro.
Work in progress, bro. And then I've got another deal that I'm working on now with a commercial landscaping company, which could be promising. That's an SBA deal. And then I've got another deal that I might be looking at. And I just mailed out 125 direct mailers to plumbing companies.
Okay.
That are all kind of like seated in our area. So did I explain to you or show you, man, since we're the only ones on, I'm not even sure if Lance is coming.
Lance won't be. He's actually with his mother is in town.
Okay.
So he's not actually going to make it today.
Okay, cool. Well, we're the only ones, man. It's all good. So we can just end whenever you feel like. But did I show you how to automate the process of looking up deals?
Not automate, no, not automated.
Okay. All right. Well, let me show you, man. Do you want to see this? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been actually on the I've been getting so much content from the training. Like it's awesome, man. I really like that guy, man. I really like
deep, isn't it? It's really good, man.
Dude. I like the way that he teaches, dude. Like, you don't get sleepy or tired or anything like that. Like I stay alert, man. I'm just like, he's a good teacher.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I told you, like, it's hard to know unless you like get in and see it for yourself. But then once you do that, you're like, oh man, where has this been all my life? And right. So let's look up Data Axle, right? This is the tool.
Data Axle. Oh shoot. Okay.
And
he goes through this training, right? On the thing or doesn't?
So this one he doesn't, man. This is an additional thing. Harris County Library. So I'm going to show you something that I learned, a little trick, man, from one of the people that are like in the program.
Okay.
And it just blew my mind, right? Because I was like, man, I'm in here trying to figure out how to do LinkedIn and all of these other things. And this is a much easier way to do this. So you can still do all of those things, right? You've got LinkedIn. I can do another training on how to use LinkedIn and, get all of those leads, but it's kind of what they call the slow burn, right? Like it's building up a pipeline and getting in contact with people. And I still think it's a very viable way to go, right? But what you need is, LinkedIn, and then there's a tool called Linkport, which then attaches a button to LinkedIn so that you can almost skip trace, right? So like you get all the people in LinkedIn's information. And then there's another tool called Signal Hire that if LinkedIn doesn't give you the information, you can use Signal Hire as a skip tracing tool. But Signal Hire gives you, I think it's like 100 or 200 people only, right, per month. So Signal Hire, you have to pay $50 a month for. But both of those tools, Linkport and Signal Hire, they will drop your contacts that you're queuing off from LinkedIn right into a tool called Pipedrive. And that's a CRM. And that Pipedrive, dude, you're going to be blown away, man. Pipedrive, how much this CRM gives you like out of the box for free.
Okay.
I think it's even better than the current CRM that I have. And for the deal flow, the way that we're originating it and doing it, it's very well suited. And so I got that from a guy who was a recruiter for years. And he's in the program, and he's the one that kind of gave us that. So I can do another coaching on that, because that's another tool that can add to your belt. So let me go to this real quick. Data Axle. I have to find it, man. There it is. Reference solutions. That's what I was gonna say. All right, maybe let's look it up here and see if I have to go in here and find it again, man. Lost it.
And it's in the library?
Yeah, you're gonna be you're gonna be blown away by this, man. Reference USA, right? I think that's how I looked it up the last time. Yeah, Reference USA. All right. So yeah, like Reference USA is how I got in. There it is, Reference Solutions. Let me make sure that I let Ola in. Okay. So yeah, let's see here. Man, why am I having trouble finding it now? All right. I think I saved it in my favorites. Hold on one second. I'm going to find this guy. Let me look it up here. There it is. There it is. I need to save this guy to my.
Like bookmark it?
Yeah, bookmark it. 100%. All right, let's see here. There it is. Okay. Thank goodness, man. I was able to get this thing and find it. All right, man. So I'm going to give you this. And then, funny enough, man, I'm going to give you my library card. Never would I thought that I would tell another grown man that I would give you my library card number, but yeah.
That's crazy.
but seeing as how you're in Austin, you can do the same thing, right? I'm pretty sure Travis County Public Library has something similar to this.
Okay.
But what you do is you take your library card, because Harris County offers this Data Axle tool for free to people that have library cards. And I am assuming, again, that Travis County probably has the same thing. But if they don't, I'll give you my deal outside of this. All right. So once you log in with your card, okay, it's going to bring you into this Data Axle Reference Solution screen. And I'll give you this as well, just in case you can't get to the other one. But what you do is you click in US businesses. I guess I never thought this through, but the Secretary of State, all the businesses have to report to them, right? So
right.
Leave it up to the government to not do very much well, but one thing they do well is track every bit of your information, right?
Oh yeah.
And they can reference it right down to the littlest thing. So you're going to see, man, this is a super powerful tool. So let's say that first off, I want to look up executive titles, and I want board members. I want chairmen. I want CEOs. I want, I don't know, directors, right? I want executive director, executive officer. I want a general manager. I would like maybe a manager. Let's see here. Who else? Who else? I want an owner. I want a president. I'd like a principal. And then I think that's good for now, right? So, point is, now I can drill in by all of these people, right? And their title. Now, what I can do, so any business that's worth its salt, they have SICS and NAICS codes, SICS, NAICS, right? SICS and NAICS codes will qualify you, like in terms of, whenever somebody's looking you up in a system like this, right? Like, hey, I'm a plumber, I'm an HVAC, I'm a manufacturer, like whatever I do, right? And so let's just say that I'm looking up plumbing and I want to do, a search by all of the SICS codes, right? Well, I can look them all up right here. And let's just say, and you see this list of different, business, you see this list of different types of plumbers, right? That this gives you. So what we're going to do, we're just going to try to drill in a little bit here, right? I'm going to look for plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Bang, right? Now I've got all of those guys that quantitate under that. And if I update this count, I now have 8,052 businesses, right? So now I'm going to go even further, man. And I know that I'm looking for companies that already have employees in place. Right. I do not want to have to be inside of it, right? So I want somewhere between 10 and 50 employees. I think that's good. I want to look up the sales volume. I can look for businesses that are doing between 1 and 2.5, 2.5 and 5, 5 and 10 million. And now if I click update, now I'm down to 1,904, okay? I can also come in here and I could look whether it's publicly or privately traded, where their headquarters, veteran owned, minority owned, like any of that stuff. I can look up their credit rating. So I definitely want to look up businesses that have good standing, right? Mm-hmm. Very good, professional, good, excellent. I definitely want all of those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up, let's say I only want plumbing companies in the state of Texas. So I can come in here. I look up city and state and I go to Texas. Go. So now I'll look up Texas, right? I just want all the plumbing companies in Texas. So I'm going to update my count. I got 191 now. So I just qualified a list of 191 plumbers that are sitting in these parameters that I'm looking for, right? And so now I'm going to go and view the results. Well, now I can come in and I can see who the business is and who owns it. I can see their address, where they're at, zip codes, telephone numbers, everything, right?
No freaking way. That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? Now,
I would have never in a million years. No way. Through the library card?
Yeah, with a library card.
That's nuts.
But it makes a lot of sense, right? Because the library is not just where you go to read books, but it is where we as kind of like people house information and we look up information, right? And so it kind of makes sense now that I think about it, but I would have never, ever known to do this in a million years.
And that's probably even better because, usually Google, you're having to pay marketing dollars for that. And not every single company is going to show up there.
Exactly. Every single company will show up. There's over 80 million companies in this database.
That's nuts, man.
I can drill in even further, man, by the years they've been in business, like all of it, right? So
Yeah.
let's just say, man, I think this AR, A&R Mechanical Services, this is the way to go. I'm looking at these guys. So I'm coming in and I'm checking it out. Oh, okay. I see that their location did 2.7 million. They have 20 employees. They're privately traded company. I see their EIN number. Um, it looks like they've been in business years and date 27. That might be a pretty good company to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Got a
You might,
40
you might
to,
be ready to retire.
yeah, looks like they got between a 40 and 100,000 square foot place. Yeah, man. Manager, general manager, finance executive. It's got all of these folks, right? And then it tells me, yeah, like their accounting, right? Advertising, how much they've basically been paying for things. But it does look like back in around 2000, 2001 that they did $6 million in revenue. And it
Wow.
just looks like they've taken a little dip here, right? So that's interesting. That might be actually be a pretty good company to go after.
Yeah, because now you can shoot for some value, right? Like what
Exactly.
can you do to improve their
So
sales?
now, what can I do with all of this? And how is this meaningful, right? Why is all of this stuff that I'm telling you like super meaningful? I'm going to show you how you do this in a really easy way. The one downside to the system, it will only let you download 250 at a time, right? So you will have to keep track of how you're searching, right? And then like how you're drawing over that information so you're not like doubling it up and wasting your time and your marketing dollars. But let's just say, man, I want this whole first page of 20 people, of 20 businesses, right? So now I come in and I hit download. I want to do detailed that includes all the data. And then I download that record. And that's going to spit out a CSV file for me. So let me go over here and just show you. So it's going to spit out a CSV file. And the way that I've done this is I just kind of loaded up, I loaded up like basically a tier here in like my Google Drive. I did companies for sale, marketing, right? Email, initial, blah, blah, blah. That way I can keep track of these folks. And then I'm looking at like, service-based company. And I'm just drilling down right into like how I want to look at these companies or whatever. But this is the very first list that I drew down. So now I cleaned it all up and I've got 125 of these plumbers that I'm going to send to. Okay. So what I do is I take these guys and I go over to A3 Marketing. And what I tell A3 Marketing, my name, my phone number, my email, and I say, hey, I want to do a handwritten envelope and I'm going to do a templated letter. And these guys will write every envelope. They have machines, right, that are writing them all. And they are going to handwrite, basically every single, letter or envelope or however you want to do it, right? So for us, we go handwritten envelope with just a generic typed letter. And what I have are templates that I have gotten from the other guys in the group. Let me go into, I think I put it here. Oh, something else I'm doing. I went into business buying, letters. So what I did, I had him send me a bunch of these templated letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just got a bunch of different templated letters, and I'll send those to you, no problem. And what I did is I just kind of semi-personalized it, right? I wanted to write you directly in a private and confidential way, even though we haven't met. My name is Damon Ponder, and I've spent the last 16 years working for the United States military. Recently, my family and I transitioned. You know, having spent most of my life serving others, acquiring a service-based company seems like the absolute best fit for me. Blah blah blah. Right. So I'm going through here, and I'm telling him I'm interested in buying your business, right? And I'm just giving him a personalized letter, and I put my name, my telephone number, my email address. And what I do is I give A3 Marketing that CSV file and
Yeah.
that templated letter. And they do the whole thing for me. They stamp it and they send it out. $1.27 per letter.
Is there any sort of tracking that you get for that, or is this basically just regular U.S. post?
Yeah, so she will send you completion on the job, so you'll know that they all went out.
Okay.
This is the one place that me and another friend are kind of figuring this out, but basically Pipedrive will allow me to take those 125 leads and I can drop them into Pipedrive as leads. And then once they've all been sent out, letters sent, we transfer them into that block, right? And then once those letters have been sent, now we're tracking, like, have we gotten a reply, no reply? And then what we think that we're going to do is go ahead and try to skip that list for all the email addresses to make sure that we have them all. And then we're going to start email drip campaigns to all of these people.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is every 6 months, we're going to mail.
Every
Right?
6 months. Okay.
So we're going to do an email drip campaign along with a mailing every 6 months until, you know, we either get a hold of them, they tell us to go to hell, or, you know, maybe 2 years of trying the person, you know, we just don't get anything and we got to take them out of the system. But I can tell you that Leighton, the guy that gave this all to me, which I thought was like mind blowing, Leighton, the guy that gave this to me, is not doing hardly any follow up. He's just sending the letters out. And he was like, I've got so much lead flow at this point. He's like, I don't know what to do with it all. He's like, I've bought multiple businesses at this point. But he was like, my problem is now, he was like, for instance, I've got a CNC company that's perfect to buy the annuity deal, and I know how to run the business all day long, but I don't know anything about CNC machines. So he said, my biggest problem is trying to find people to partner with in the deal, right? So this becomes a battle, man. Like, you find companies that you want to acquire and buy, but it's remembering, you know, let's say you spend $2,000 total in marketing, but you get one company that's paying you $400,000 in EBITDA a year. It's paying you $100,000 a year or more.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense all day long, right? So that's really the gist, man. Like, it's Data Axle, using that as the referencing tool. And man, I didn't even show you. Let's go back and let's go and revise this again. But I could also, if I wanted to, I could say, okay, I don't want to do the NICS codes. Maybe I just want to do it by the industry.
Wow.
I can do construction, manufacturing, transportation, services, whatever, right? Maybe I just want to do a search based on that. 43,000 businesses I just came back with.
Wow.
So there it is, man, in a nutshell. I
That's
would
awesome.
use Data Axle, A3 Marketing, Pipedrive, and I would definitely, you know, I would definitely get probably my initial flow of leads coming in from this tool. And then I think you can add LinkedIn, Linkport, Signal Hire, all of those after, right? And then you start to get that slow burn process and really build up, all of that strong lead flow from multiple sources. But Carl seems to think, and he's got a lot of data backing him, that, and you'll probably hear that, in the talk, but that every 25 of these you send out, that it is very possible to get a viable deal in an annuity deal, because annuity deals just make a lot of sense for these business owners, man.
Okay.
So once you get your initial lead flow going, man, and then you make contact, it's about building rapport, right?
Yeah.
You got to talk to that business owner, and you got to build that rapport with them, man. Make them understand why you want to buy that business and leave his legacy or her legacy intact, keep the employees, all of that. And then we're basically just trying to work towards financials, right? Like, hey, if selling your business, what you want to do, like, I'd love to see the financials, and let's see if we can't come up, with the deal. And then once you get the financials, that's where I would tell you, like, bring them to me, and then let's try to work our way through, because, man, I'm new to that too. I am learning the modeling. But we will look through the financials and then get it into the model. And this is that revised model that I was telling you about. So what I think you've probably seen is the simplified model. Simplified model works really well, but there's some underlying things, right, that you have to do, because it's not as broken up as this. Like, you've got to know to adjust the EBITDA on your own and put it in and like revise some of the numbers. I felt like this was a really great tool. I could take basically right from the income statement and plug this stuff in. I take it right from the most recent balance sheet and plug it in. That gives me all of my numbers up above. I'm trying to buy at a 3-time multiple. And then I'm seeing, are there receivables that I can loan against? I can loan against receivables up to 80%. I can loan against inventory up to 40%. I can loan against fixed assets such as property. I can loan against that up to 75%. And those are the things that quantitate the down payment in the deal for you, right? And then what really matters is this number right down here, payment cover. As long as that payment cover is greater than 1.5, you know that you've got a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So this model, man, really, it simplifies a lot of it, but there are some things that it's not just easy, right? Like when you go into these income statements and P&Ls for larger companies, like I swear, man, every company has its own way of doing it. And so, different things are labeled different things. And so the cool thing about it is that we could model something up. Maybe we get a little stuck, and then I can go to somebody in the group and get us on a group phone call together. I'll be like, hey, this is my business partner. And there's some really, really savvy people in there, man, in terms of the numbers. And they will literally go in and help you do it. I mean, they will, for all intents and purposes, walk you right through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they just revamped a bunch of stuff, man, about how they're tracking everything. They added more teams, so everything is more personal now.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love it, man. I love it. Like I'm 100% sold, especially after I proofed it with this company.
Yeah.
And the way that we're setting this company up, man, we're leaving ourselves a back door to where we could basically back out of the whole deal if it doesn't go according to plan, right? And leave ourselves an out. So in doing a risky deal like the one that we're doing right now, because it is a little more risky, right? Because the company has some debt and we're trying to establish it, though we are pretty sure that it's going to be a great company. But that's the cool thing, man. When you're working with some of these other folks in the group, you can really call upon their knowledge and how to make sure that, you know, you're doing these deals so that they are advantageous for everyone.
Yeah.
But dude, it's nothing like real estate. I'll tell you that. Like I'm not having to go after, and I'm not downing at all Sub2 or going after real estate, but it is more arduous, man. If you think about it, like I am trying to talk to a residential owner who for the most part has no idea of what I'm telling them to do, right? Like they don't understand Sub2. They don't get it. And so I'm having to spend a lot of time to convince and tell. Most of these owners totally get it. Like this makes perfect financial sense to most of them, right? And they all know from the beginning that unless it's an SBA qualified deal, they are going to have to sell or finance it. It's the only way, right? So yeah, like, you know, SBA deals take longer. They can take anywhere between 3 and 6 months. But generally speaking, with an SBA deal, from what I've understood, you know that it's a more solid, right? Like it is a more, I don't know what's the word that I'm looking for. It's a company that's solid in that it is going to return X amount to you every year, right? Like I know that I'm going to have 15%, 20% growth year over year, right?
Right.
That's what the SBA and these government-backed loans are looking for. They want companies that are proven over time because they're risking by putting up a bank loan for it is basically what it is.
Right. Man, that's awesome. That's great. That is.
I hope, man. I hope it doesn't like inundate you with where you're at, because I know when I first started going through the videos, man, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Well, it does, but you know but it's an exciting kind of feeling, right? So, and to know that you already are ahead of that, right, ahead of the game, it just makes it even easier. So,
yeah,
no, not at all, man. It's more exciting than anything, honestly.
Well, I love that, man. I love that you're getting value out of it, and like,
yeah,
I was hoping that it would be that mind blowing experience for you that it was for me. It's like it just makes so much sense. Because
right.
you being in Sub2, you're really kind of already doing this, right?
Right.
So a lot of this makes perfect sense. But now it's just saying, well, okay, I'm still going to keep doing real estate. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. But now I'm just going to add maybe, 100 or 125, however many letters you want to send. But maybe I'm going to add 100 letters a month, right? To what I'm doing.
Right.
And then you niche down, man. Just pick your business and niche down and get into the weeds, and you'll start getting that lead flow. And once you do that, like it's just takes one business. And Carl keeps saying that like out of 25 businesses that you talk to, he was like, one of those will turn into a deal.
That's awesome.
All right, man. Well, I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does, brother.
By the way, don't be a stranger, dude. Like, you can always call, like, ask questions. It's good for you to ask questions of me, because if I don't know it, I'll go to the group and find out. But fuck, I'd love to do a deal together, man. Like,
oh yeah, we're gonna do that for sure. Because what I'm doing too is I'm actually, as I'm going through these videos, I'm taking notes on every single thing and writing down my questions. So Yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out to you, getting those
Absolutely.
questions answered. But I'm
Cool.
excited, brother.
Cool, man. I love that.
Where you at?
Well, it's a small room tonight. That's okay. We didn't really put it out to everybody. I think this week has been a really long week, and I just kind of wanted to. I'm going to take a brief moment. Justin's in the room with us. I'm not going to. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop my share here, but I don't want to go to the inner workings of this particular deal. And I promised Justin, like, I'm not necessarily going to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot, right? But I am going to talk about failing forward, right? In that it's not always a win, guys. Sometimes there are losses and you have to take it on the chin. And Justin and I have been involved in that heavily this week. Have we not, Justin? I think, Justin, are you muted, or does your speaker not working?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, man. So for anybody that kind of knows Justin, he's like the multifamily guy in the room. And I learn a lot from him every day. We learn stuff from each other. I've been doing this a long time. Juan's been doing this a long time. But we still learn things every day, guys. And we do, and I don't want to give away too much because we are still involved in the throes of this situation. But we do some lending, right? We haven't been involved in some lending as a group. And we've had a I want to say sizable. I wouldn't say a massive or anything, but a sizable to the tune of a few tens of thousands of dollars, right? But yeah, so I don't know. Let's just call it like roughly in the 60, 70K range. But we've had really problem where we've run into an issue with getting our money back, right? And again, I'm trying to make sure that I don't give away too much because I don't want this stuff to be used. However, we could have easily, when this event happened, lay down and play dead, right? We could have easily blamed each other. We could have said, man, I can't believe that you didn't do this or you didn't do that and this and that, and everybody's pointing fingers. And I would first and foremost like to say and convey that neither Justin nor I or the others involved in this deal did that. And that's very important, right? Because we understand now that there is a problem that has been created and we have to fix it. And part of what we have been doing, and I have been doing all week long, to a level of tiresome, to say the least, right? But I have been chasing phone calls. I have gotten in touch with people that I know still inside the government, and I do still have some fairly I've got some fairly knowledgeable friends that are still lodged within the government. I'm very, very, very lucky to have, some very influential friends within the government. And I feel lucky to, my military career, I always kind of bring into things, but I'm so lucky that I made a lot of those relationships over the years. Because I do actually have friends that are all the way up to the Pentagon, So that being said, I had to chase down some, how do I put this? I had to chase down some viable sources to find out information. I had to kind of go through multiple people to do that, all the way from, at federal all the way down to the county level to kind of find out about this situation. And anyways, that I think, that being said, the premise is that we've stayed really diligent about it, right? At this point, the way that I look at it is we lost our money, right? The way that I look at it. And so I said, okay, guys, when I called everybody about this issue, and I said, our money is gone. That's the way that we need to look at it. However, I'm not acting like my money is gone, right? I am going to come after and chase down to the ends of the earth this particular person, this entity, we'll call them. And so it becomes about, how did I do that, right? Like, we had to get really, really focused in how we started chasing this down. Well, we know we have a promissory note. We know we have collateral. Are these things viable? If not, what are the next steps? Do we need to go to a real estate attorney? We're making those phone calls. Do we need to go to a civil litigator? Do we need to chase down the other people that are involved in this deal? It's coming. I think it's coming of the mindset, and Justin will probably convey that it reached a point where I did not care how the other person involved in this felt. I don't care whether he feels like he's being attacked. I don't feel sorry for him, this entity, right? Because at this point, right, the problem is that we've got X amount of thousands of dollars that are out there being lent. And the problem is, how do I get my money back? And anybody that knows me will know, I have not reached the point that I have reached in life by just letting people get over on me. And I think more than likely, most times, people probably mistake me for a dumbass hillbilly, and that's okay, because I come from those beginnings. I'm okay with that, but I'm smart like a fox, right? And I will chase you down. And I do not get tired, right? I sleep less than probably anybody I only sleep about 4 to 4.5 hours a night, for the most part. Justin's seen that firsthand. I don't sleep very well. But the thing is, right, is while they're sleeping, I'm out working to figure out how we take care of this problem. How do I get a step ahead? And just to kind of bring this home, and then Justin can talk, like, I have done all of the above. I have chased this entity to the federal level, to the county level. I found out a lot of stuff. I know more about this entity than they know about themselves at this point. And that is the truth, right? I actually really do know more about them than they know about themselves. And the point being is that we got the other people that were involved in this deal in. That's the beautiful part of Sub 2, right? I started reaching out and trying to figure out how we make contact, using those networking skills to try to reach out and build a relationship there, which we did. Justin and I were able to establish a relationship there. I think one of the really great pieces that came out of that, we have established a relationship with another private money lender who is doing fairly large scale lending, I would say, which is a great tool for us because we are never shady. We don't do unethical real estate transactions, which I think private money lenders really appreciate. And so that being said, right, we tracked down every single person that was involved in this deal. And is this thing complete yet? No, right? but we are hopefully optimistic at this point, right? But I think this is a testament, guys, to you have to get out and take chances when you're investing. This is investing, hands down, right? Like real estate is investing, and in any investment there are risks involved, and you have to be willing to take those risks. But what's more than that, you've got to be ready or prepared to try to fix the problems that you create. So if you're out on a limb and you're like, man, I think I want to move through on this house, or I think I want to do this multifamily deal, or I think, listen, people that just sit and think all of the time don't get things done. They just think about it all day long. We pulled the trigger, we created a problem, and now 100%, as I am Damon Ponder sitting here in front of you on Zoom, we are going to work as diligently as we possibly can to fix this problem. And I think I told Justin, when we started all this, we don't want to talk about any more problems. We don't want to add any more problems to this. We don't want to talk about the negative part of it. All we want to bring to the table are solutions. And I got taught that probably my first year in the Marine Corps. I had a captain, I had a captain that asked the NCOs, non-commissioned officers, to bring him issues. And I brought an issue, but I didn't bring any, I just brought an issue. It was a problem.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he's like, soldier, don't ever bring me a problem without a solution. He said, I'm a problem solver and I will help you fix it. But I need you, my leaders, to learn how to bring me fixes to those problems so that I can take them and implement them, right? And that is something that has stayed with me my entire life, through every road, adventure, door, every threshold I have ever crossed. I don't complain. I just try to bring fixes. So that being said, guys, when I tell you it's been a rough week, holy smokes, right? It has been. What's your take on it, Justin? I tried to be as around the bush on that as I could.
No, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I'm a problem solver, and that's what I've always been in business. And there's not really a reason, or it does no one any good to just wallow in. You can have your moment of that initial shock and let that wear off, and
it's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
yeah, and then you get down to work and you fix that problem, and
yeah.
I think we're rolling with it. I feel confident we'll come to some solution and things will work out in our benefit. But it's been a hard road for sure, and I look forward to it being behind us and sitting down and learning from it and coming up with the processes that will prevent that in the future. So that's
100%.
Solution based is really where you want to be, and not getting too down on you or others, and really contributing value to how you can help solve the problem. So I appreciate Damon and everything he's done in this situation. I look forward to it being.
And I appreciate you, man, because you've been working just as hard on the other end of the situation. And I think, look, at the end of the day, my hope is that I get our money back. But really, more than that, my hope is that we learn a lot of lessons from this,
Yeah.
and we make our process better.
Yeah.
Because there is money to be made in lending.
Yeah.
This is just another facet of real estate, right? Owning property, lending, all of these things. And there's people out there making a tremendous amount of money doing lending.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the other lender that's involved in this deal is probably making close to 120,000 plus on this deal. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that being, I digress, but the point is that what this will bring for me is not a pity party. I had one day where I had a pity party. I used my wife as a whipping post, unfortunately. And I had to go back and apologize for that because it wasn't fair. But the one thing that I will get out of all of this is, how do I make my process better? I will 100% take the paperwork that I have used and I will refine that paperwork to be better than it was before. And I will make sure that I take as much risk out of the next transaction as I possibly can. And there will be a next.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is bonds are created in the face of adversity. So I think Damon and my business relationship and friendship has become stronger from this, and will become stronger because of the situation that we've been through. So
yeah, man, 100%. I don't just consider, that's, again, I know there are these big groups in Sub 2 and ours is a little smaller, but I don't care if there's one person, no person, I will still come on here and talk all day long, right? But the one thing that I have gotten out of this group is I'm building friendships with people. And some are slower to build than others, but there are friendships being built that people know and look at me and know that I am ethical. I am a straight shooter. I am here to make money like you. I will do my best to do right by you before anything else. And that is the bond that me and Justin have built. I consider us friends at this point. And I will continue to do business with Justin from now and into the future. And I see nothing but good things. I could see me and Justin buying a business together. He has a great mind. He's a very intelligent guy. I could also see that doing that with Juan. I have a great relationship with Juan. I would assume anytime I go into the Austin area that me and Juan would stop for a coffee and, see how things are going, right? And that really, guys, I keep saying it kind of week over week. That is what this is all about. You have to build strong relationships with people. And if you think that you're going to go out and do this on your own, yes, you can. You can buy a couple of houses here and there on your own. But when you start to truly become an investor, you cannot do it without other people. You can't. And I rely on all of you heavily, right? Like I lean on Justin. He leans on me. I lean on Juan. He leans on me. And I'm here for you guys. I know you guys are here for me. I love everyone that comes into this group. And guys, let me end it here. Go out this week and be a risk taker. Do something that you haven't done before. If you're standing on the edge of buying a house, don't let the talk inside your head stop you. Do your due diligence, make sure that it's a good deal, but after that, pull the trigger.
Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold.
Yes, sir. Guys, I will end it there for tonight. Right. Juan, do you have anything else, man?
I was just laughing because that's That's exactly why I have up on my board.
Oh, I see.
Fortune favors the brave.
Yeah.
There
It's
it is.
it's so true. Right now I'm I got called out by I reached out to somebody who's looking for EMD, right? It's 8K, it's not huge, right? But still, it's like, okay, I don't know this person from Adam, right? It's like, okay, so I gotta work on doing my due diligence and make sure that it's gonna be something that I'm comfortable with, that I understand the deal, try to do everything that I can from a financial aspect, a legal aspect to cover myself. I guess I would ask you guys, if you guys can share, what is it that you've learned so far that can help everybody here in this group, including myself, now that I'm actually looking at this deal to protect ourselves a little better?
So I can tell you one thing that we've learned is, so of course in this particular deal, it's a mutual rescission state. So that is one issue, right? About actually getting those escrow instructions, those irrevocable instructions into escrow. It is a little more difficult, right? On this particular deal. And so what we try to do is to collateralize against property, right? Which I think was a great thought, but
We needed to go deeper on it.
Huh?
We needed to go deeper on it.
Yeah, we didn't go deeper on it. Come to find out, there was some fraud there, without going too deep into that. But now I think what I've learned is to either situate a quitclaim deed, or to situate a memorandum of contract on that property as part of the deal from the get-go. Now, with where the particular deal lies, we're having to depend on others a little bit. But this particular entity could still effectively enter irrevocable escrow instructions with where the deal is at and still promise us our money. Now, this particular entity is a scumbag, and I don't think they, whatever, right, is going to do that. But yeah, I think one of the main things that I've learned is go deeper. You have to look these people up online. You have to, if they're collateralizing against property, you better go set that property across the county tax assessor, county appraisal. Make sure that you can
register interest in the property.
Correct. Make sure that you can find an attachment to that property. Yeah. So yeah, there were things missed. So yeah, I think one of the really good ways to do it is to file that memorandum contract, because you can do that at the very beginning of the deal, right?
But is that only
Sorry, I actually had mentioned that to Justin in the beginning of the deal, but I think we felt that doing it might not be a possibility because the seller and the way that it was being sold to us was the sensitive nature of the deal, right? They didn't know if the seller would go for that, right? Well, if the seller's not going to go for it, then we're not going to go for it, right? Either get it done or I'm not lending.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't a traditional EMD get or lend. I mean, there was other things involved in it, and so we thought we had protected ourselves better, but come to find out that we might not have, and it's still a saga that continues. So we'll see where we end up, and maybe we'll become whole again. But
yeah, and we're continuing to learn here. We're not done, right? We still kind of have to ride this to its fruition. But yeah, is your particular deal in a mutual rescission state one? Is it?
It's in Oregon.
Okay, so do you know if that is mutual?
I have not even checked if it is or not.
Yeah, I'd be very careful. Like, if Oregon is not a mutual rescission state, then you should be able to enter those irrevocable escrow instructions. So as long as you can do that, you definitely know that you're good, right? But if you cannot do that, then they are going to have to collateralize with something. And if they collateralize, man, better make sure that they actually own it, whatever it is. And either that, the memorandum contract, the memorandum of contract on it, you could also do that, or that possible quit claim deed on it, you could do that as well.
So I guess a question on that is when you submit the MOC, typically it's the person that has the contract direct with the seller that has the capability to file an MOC if they're using the right contract, right? Because it actually states on the contract that you can submit an MOC against the property. So I take it that in this scenario, you're saying you guys as the lenders can do that also. Is that what you're saying, that you guys would have submitted it, or you guys would have asked that person that has a contract with the seller to submit it?
Correct.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because I don't think, well, I know now in hindsight, I don't think we pushed hard enough on that, right? That he kind of, this person kind of gave us the runaround on it, just so to speak. And he held the purchase contract, so he definitely could have done that, right? Hindsight 2020 on that one.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? You guys are giving us about a wealth of knowledge, by just what you've gone through, and helps everybody else here in this group, hopefully avoid some of these things by learning from each other, as you mentioned.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, man, it's we're learning as we go. There's another PML involved on this one for a much larger piece of it. They are spooked. They are they're not at ease, right? But I do believe that other person is on our side, so that's at least promising.
And I would also say that the private money lender that's involved in this does a ton of deals every year, and made some of the same mistakes that we made. So it's not beyond anyone to make those types of mistakes, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, which actually makes me feel good, right? Because it's like, at least I know. At least I know that he, this person wasn't the only, we weren't the only ones duped, right? So to speak. He also has duped others. And, it's like I say, man, and again, not trying to give up too much, but there's there's some things going on in the background, unpronounced to this particular entity that are not going to work well in their favor if this thing doesn't reach fruition, right? So it's going to be a very, very difficult road ahead for this particular entity. So those are some of the things that I'm having to learn, right? Like, how do you again, like, how do you chase after somebody when they don't pay? Because the funny thing is, this private money lender was saying, this entity is not the only thing that we're dealing with. There's other people that haven't paid them, right? So that would just go to show, these are difficult times, and people are getting into deals, and then they're walking away with people's money because they can't get it paid. You've got to know how to go chase down that money, man. You just, and that, I think that's probably the coolest part of this, is that it is forcing me way out of my comfort zone, but I'm having to be forced to deal with something that I haven't dealt with on the real estate side of the house. Now, I have done this on the construction side of the house, but it's a little bit different when you're in a company and I'm able to, hire a civil litigator to the tune of 6 figures to go after somebody and chase down my money in terms of civil litigation. And I have done that kind of multiple times. But the thing about civil litigation is that it gets expensive. So these are all, and not to give away too much, but these are all still, there are still a lot of options on the table. And again, I will bring more to you guys as this thing progresses, because eventually, when this is all said and done, I want to give the full story. I want to let everybody know exactly what happened. And I am going to do my absolute best to bring this entity and bring them out into the light, right? So that everyone in Sub 2 knows who they are. I am going to put this particular person very much in the limelight, right? So that being said, I will bring this thing, Justin will bring this thing to you as it progresses. And eventually you guys will know exactly what we did wrong, how we fixed it or not, and what I've done to make sure that they don't do this to anybody else. Because at the end of the day, if I get my money or not, I will 100% guarantee that they never do it to anybody else. And that's how we give back, right? At the end of the day. And I still haven't even talked to Pace about it yet, but I'll be headed there as well. And I'm sure that Pace will also be 100% on our side about things, right? There'll probably be some knuckleheads in there, right? Like, man, you're a knucklehead. Why'd you go do that? But at the end of the day, man, I know that Pace will be on our side and do everything that he can to help us to keep this particular entity from harming anyone else. All right, guys.
Good.
That's the best I can do for tonight.
All right.
I appreciate everybody that came. I know it was a small room tonight. I hope everybody got value. Love all you guys. I know Lance was out this week with his wife. He'll be back next week. Here in April, I want to say next week on the 9th, I think I am taping with Carl Allen. So Carl Allen will actually be coming on to do probably a pre-taped podcast with us, which I think will be awesome because he's going to give a ton of value when it comes to buying businesses. So can't wait for that one. So we got guests coming, and yeah, as always, man, reach out, guys. If you have problems, we're here to help you fix them. All right. Talk with everybody soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.